Hey everyone, welcome back to Talk Fluent, the place where learning English feels more like hanging out with friends than sitting in a classroom. I'm so glad you're here today because we're talking about something every English learner feels at some point. Maybe you've opened a book, watched a lesson, tried speaking, made a few mistakes, and thought, you know what, maybe English just isn't for me. If that's how you're feeling today, stay with us because this episode is especially for you.
Hey everyone, it's great to have you back. And wow, this topic hits close to home. I don't think there's a single person who's learned a new language without wanting to quit at least once. It's normal. It doesn't mean you're bad at English. It doesn't mean you're not smart enough. It just means you're human.
Exactly, I still remember learning a few phrases in another language years ago. I'd practice them all day, and then when I finally tried speaking to someone, I froze. My mind went completely blank. I walked away thinking, well, that was embarrassing. But looking back, I'm so glad I didn't stop.
Same here, we often think fluent speakers were born confident, but that's not true. Every fluent speaker was once a beginner who struggled with simple sentences, pronunciation, and confidence. The difference is that they kept showing up, even when it felt difficult.
And that's what today's episode is all about. We're going to talk about why you feel like giving up, how to change your mindset, and the simple habits that make learning English easier and more enjoyable. By the end of this episode, you'll have practical tools to stay motivated and keep moving forward.
Before we jump in, we've got a question for you. Have you ever wanted to quit learning English? What made you feel that way? Was it grammar, speaking, fear of making mistakes, or maybe you just felt like you weren't improving? Let us know in the comments because we read them, and your story might encourage someone else.
And if you're enjoying these conversations and want more real English lessons mixed with motivation, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Talk Fluent. Every week we're here to help you sound more natural, feel more confident, and enjoy your English journey.
All right, grab your favorite drink, relax, and let's talk about why quitting isn't the answer, and why your biggest breakthrough might be closer than you think.
Let's start with one simple idea. Learning English isn't about being perfect. It's about communicating. That's the goal. If people understand you, you're already succeeding. Think about this basic formula. Subject plus verb plus object. I love English. She watches movies. They speak slowly. That's it. English starts with simple building blocks. You don't need long, complicated sentences to have real conversations.
Exactly, let's look at a few everyday examples. I need coffee, we have class today, he likes soccer, they live in Texas. My friend called me, see how simple those are. Native speakers actually use short sentences all the time. We don't try to sound like a dictionary.
That's something many learners don't realize. Sometimes they think fluent English means using big words or complicated grammar, but honestly, simple English is powerful. Imagine you're ordering food. I'd like a burger, please. That's perfect. Or you're meeting someone new. Hi, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. Again, perfect. Nobody expects you to give a speech every time you open your mouth.
Here's something funny. Have you noticed that beginners often try to make every sentence sound fancy? Instead of saying, I'm tired, they try something like, I am currently experiencing an overwhelming sensation of exhaustion.
Exactly, and meanwhile, native speakers are just saying, man, I'm exhausted.
Keep it simple, real conversations are simple.
Now let's talk about another important formula. Progress equals practice plus patience. Not perfection, practice plus patience. If you practice without patience, you'll get frustrated. If you're patient without practicing, nothing changes. You need both.
Let me give you a real example. Imagine two students. Student A studies English for 5 hours on Saturday and then stops for the rest of the week. Student B studies for 20 minutes every day. Who do you think improves faster? Most of the time, it's student B. Consistency beats intensity.
That's true in almost everything. Going to the gym, learning to cook, playing guitar, learning English works the same way. Small daily progress becomes huge progress after a few months.
Here's a question for everyone listening. How many minutes can you honestly study English every day? 10, 15, 30? Write your answer in the comments. Don't worry about what sounds impressive, be honest.
Here's another mindset shift. Instead of saying, my English is terrible, try saying, my English is improving. Those two sentences create completely different feelings. Your brain listens to the words you repeat.
I love that. Instead of saying, I can't speak English, say, I can't speak English well yet. That one little word, yet, changes everything.
Absolutely. Now let's look at positive and negative sentence forms because they're useful in everyday conversations. Positive, I can understand this lesson. Negative, I can't understand this lesson. Positive, I'm improving. Negative, I'm not improving as fast as I'd like. Notice something? The second negative sentence is honest, but it doesn't destroy your confidence.
That's such an important difference. Instead of saying, I'll never be fluent, say, I'm still learning. Instead of, I always make mistakes, say, I'm learning from my mistakes. See the difference?
Your words shape your attitude, and attitude shapes your actions. If you believe every mistake means failure, you'll stop speaking. If you believe every mistake is practice, you'll keep improving.
Let me ask everyone another question. Can you remember the first English sentence you ever learned? Maybe it was, how are you? Or, my name is. Think about that for a second. Look how far you've already come.
That's a great reminder. Sometimes we're so focused on how far we still have to go that we forget how far we've already traveled. Celebrate the little wins. Did you understand a movie without subtitles today? Awesome. Did you learn 5 new words? Fantastic. Did you speak English for 1 minute without switching languages? That's progress too.
Here's a quick practice challenge. Finish these sentences out loud. I can. I want to. I'm going to. Don't overthink it. Just speak. Maybe you said, I can understand podcasts. I want to speak confidently. I'm going to practice every day. Perfect.
And if you want extra practice, write one of those sentences in the comments. We'd love to read it and other learners can encourage you too.
Now let's talk about something that surprises a lot of learners. Confidence doesn't come before speaking. Confidence comes from speaking. People often say, I'll speak English when I feel confident. But that's backwards. You become confident because you speak.
Exactly, think about riding a bicycle. You don't wait until you're confident before getting on the bike. You ride, you wobble, maybe you fall, then you get better. English works exactly the same way.
Can you challenge yourself this week? Can you speak English for just 5 minutes every day? Maybe with a friend, maybe by yourself, maybe while looking in a mirror. Can you do it? I think you can.
Remember, nobody starts as an expert. Every fluent speaker once struggled with simple words. Every confident speaker once felt nervous. Every successful learner once thought about quitting. The difference is they kept going.
So let's quickly review this first section. Keep your sentences simple. Focus on communication, not perfection. Practice a little every day instead of waiting for the perfect time. Replace negative thoughts with encouraging ones. Celebrate every small improvement. And most importantly, don't quit just because progress feels slow. Slow progress is still progress, and every conversation brings you one step closer to fluency.
Welcome back. Now that we've talked about why consistency beats perfection, let's build on that idea. Here's something that changes everything for English learners. English isn't just a subject you study, it's a skill you use. The more you use it, the more natural it becomes.
That's such an important mindset. Think about swimming. You can read 10 books about swimming, but until you get in the water, you won't really learn. English is the same. Watching lessons is helpful, but speaking, listening, reading, and writing are what make you improve.
Exactly, let's talk about using English in real life. Many learners wait for the perfect moment to speak. They think, I'll start speaking when I know more vocabulary. But guess what? That perfect moment never comes. You become ready by speaking, not before speaking.
Here's a simple formula that can help every day. Learn plus use plus repeat equals improvement. Learn one new phrase, use it in a sentence, repeat it during the week. That's much better than memorizing 50 words you'll forget tomorrow.
Let me give you a real-life example. Let's say today's phrase is, I'm looking forward to it. You could say, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm looking forward to meeting my friends. I'm looking forward to watching the new movie. One phrase. 3 different situations. Now you've actually learned something useful.
And here's another one I hear Americans use all the time. I'm working on it. Someone asks, did you finish your homework? You say, I'm working on it. Your boss asks, is the report ready? I'm working on it. Your friend asks, have you learned English yet? You smile and say, I'm working on it.
I love that expression because it's honest and positive. It shows progress instead of failure. Instead of saying, my English is bad, say, I'm working on my English. See how much better that sounds.
Let's do a little conversation together. I'll start. Hey, how's your English going?
It's getting better. I'm practicing every day.
That's awesome. Keep it up.
Short, natural, friendly. That's how real conversations sound.
Now let's compare formal and informal English. Imagine your friend asks, how's your English? You could say, it's getting pretty good. Very casual. Now imagine you're talking to your teacher. My English has improved significantly. That's more formal. Both are correct. The situation decides which one you choose.
Exactly, here's another example. Casual, I messed up. Formal, I made a mistake. Casual, I'm gonna keep trying. Formal, I'm going to continue practicing. Native speakers switch between these styles all the time.
Here's a tip. If you're talking with friends, don't worry about sounding like a textbook. Be natural. Simple English sounds much more fluent than complicated English with lots of mistakes.
Let's imagine another situation. You're at work, someone says, "Can you join the meeting tomorrow?" Instead of saying, "I think yes." You can simply say, "Sure, absolutely, no problem, I'd be happy to." Those responses sound much more natural.
Or imagine someone asks, are you free this weekend? You could answer, yeah, I am, not really. I've got plans, maybe later. Again, short answers are common in everyday American English.
Here's a quick practice activity. I'll say a situation and you answer out loud before.
Gives an example, ready? Someone says, good morning, what would you say? You could say morning, good morning, hey, how's it going? All of those sound natural.
Great, next one. Someone compliments your English, what do you say?
Try these, thank you, I really appreciate that. Thanks, I'm still learning, simple and confident.
Nice, one more. Someone says, keep practicing.
You can reply, I will, thanks for the encouragement. I definitely will, easy, right?
Now let's share 3 tips that'll help you stay motivated. First, stop comparing yourself to people who have studied English for 10 years. Compare yourself to who you were last month.
Second, celebrate progress instead of waiting for perfection. Did you understand one more sentence today? That's worth celebrating.
Third, turn English into part of your daily life. Listen to podcasts while walking, change your phone language, watch short videos, read simple articles. The more English becomes part of your routine, the less it feels like homework.
Here's another question for everyone watching. What's one thing you already do every day? Drink coffee, exercise, cook dinner. Can you add just 5 minutes of English to that activity? Tell us your idea in the comments.
I'd love to read those. Sometimes the best ideas come from other learners. Maybe someone listens to English while driving. Someone else watches cartoons. Someone practices with their kids. You never know who you'll inspire.
Let's review this section. English isn't something you memorize, it's something you use. Practice real conversations. Choose the right level of formality. Use short, natural expressions. Build daily habits. And remember, every little bit of English you use today becomes confidence tomorrow.
Now let's move into something every learner wants, sounding natural. You don't have to sound like a movie star. You don't need a perfect American or British accent. What people really notice is whether you sound comfortable and genuine.
That's true. Natural English isn't about speaking fast. It's about speaking clearly. Sometimes learners rush because they're nervous. Ironically, slowing down actually makes you sound more confident.
Exactly, listen to these 2 versions. I think we should go now. Too slow. Now this one. I think we should go now. Smooth, comfortable, that's the goal.
Here's another example. Instead of saying every word separately, I do not know, most Americans simply say, I don't know. It's shorter, smoother, and more natural.
Let's look at some everyday situations. Imagine you're meeting someone for the first time. Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. What do you do? I work in marketing. Very simple, no complicated grammar.
Or imagine you're ordering coffee. Hi, can I get a latte, please? Sure, anything else? That's all, thanks. Have a great day. That's a real conversation you'll hear every day.
Notice something, nobody is trying to sound impressive. They're just communicating. That's exactly what you should focus on too.
Here's another practical situation. Your friend asks, want to watch a movie tonight? Instead of saying, yes, I possess the desire to watch a movie, just say, sure, sounds good, I'm in. Those are much more natural.
Let's also talk about politeness. Sometimes learners sound rude without realizing it because they translate directly from their first language. Instead of saying, give me water, try, could I have some water, please? Or, can I get some water, please? Just adding please makes a huge difference.
The same thing happens with requests. Instead of help me, you could say, could you help me? Or would you mind helping me? Those sound friendlier.
Tone matters too. Even the right words can sound unfriendly if your voice sounds angry or impatient. Smile when you speak. People can actually hear a smile in your voice.
That's one of my favorite tips. If you're practicing alone, smile while reading out loud. You'll sound warmer and more confident immediately.
Let's do a mini practice together. I'll ask a question, you answer before.
Ready? What are you doing this weekend? Maybe you'd say, I'm visiting my family. I'm relaxing at home. I'm studying English. All great answers.
Here's another, why are you learning English?
You might say, I want a better job. I love traveling. I enjoy watching English movies. I want to communicate with people around the world.
Excellent, now one more. What motivates you to keep learning?
Maybe my family, my career, my dreams, my future. Whatever your reason is, never forget it.
That's powerful. Your reason is stronger than your excuses. Whenever you feel like quitting, remember why you started. Write it somewhere you'll see every day.
Another helpful habit is speaking out loud. Don't just read silently, your mouth needs practice too. Read a paragraph, repeat movie lines, shadow podcast hosts, talk to yourself while cooking. It might feel funny at first, but it works.
I actually do that sometimes. If I'm trying to remember a phrase, I'll say it while making breakfast or walking around the house. The more you repeat it naturally, the easier it becomes to remember.
And don't worry if people hear you. They're probably busy thinking about their own lives. Most people aren't judging your English nearly as much as you think.
Here's another challenge. Today, before you go to bed, speak English for 5 straight minutes. No translating, no stopping, just keep talking. Describe your day, describe your room, describe your plans. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. What matters is that you're speaking.
Before we finish this section, we'd love to hear from you. What's your biggest goal with English? Travel, work, school, making international friends? Write your answer in the comments because goals inspire action and your story might motivate someone who's feeling discouraged today.
Remember, fluency isn't built in one amazing day. It's built through hundreds of ordinary days where you choose not to give up. Those small moments add up to something incredible.
So here's the structure to remember. Speak simply, speak politely, speak consistently. Focus on clear communication instead of perfect grammar. Practice out loud every day. Keep your reason for learning close to your heart. And above all, keep showing up. Because every sentence you speak is another step toward becoming the confident English speaker you want to be.
You know, after everything we've talked about today, there's one more thing we really need to discuss. Mistakes. Every English learner makes them. Actually, every native speaker makes mistakes too. The difference is that learners often think a mistake means they're failing, while fluent speakers just keep talking. So today, let's laugh about some common mistakes instead of being afraid of them.
I love this part because these are mistakes we've heard hundreds of times, and honestly, we've made some of them ourselves while learning other languages. So if you recognize yourself today, don't worry, you're in good company.
Exactly, let's start with our first common mistake. Mistake number 1 is being afraid to speak because you're waiting for the perfect sentence. Someone asks, "How was your weekend?" Instead of answering, you spend 10 seconds thinking about grammar. By the time you're ready, the conversation has already moved on.
Here's the comparison. Incorrect approach, I need to think about every grammar rule before I answer. Better approach, I'll answer with the English I know. For example, it was great, I stayed home and watched a movie. Simple, natural. Conversation continues.
The reason this happens is because many learners believe every sentence has to be perfect, but real conversations move quickly. People care much more about understanding you than hearing perfect grammar. Think about talking to a child. If the child says, "I go to the park," you still understand the message, communication happened, grammar can always improve later.
Here's a practice challenge. I'll ask a question and I want you to answer immediately without translating in your head. What's your favorite food? Go, did you answer? Great, now another one. What's the weather like today? Again, answer right away. The goal isn't perfection, the goal is speed and confidence.
Mistake number 2 is translating every single word from your first language. This is one of the biggest habits that slows learners down. Instead of thinking directly in English, they're building the sentence in another language first. That takes time, and sometimes the sentence doesn't sound natural.
Here's an example. Instead of translating word by word, learn whole English phrases. For example, that sounds great. I don't think so. Let me check. No worries. These are complete thoughts. You don't have to build them from scratch every time.
And here's why that works. Our brains remember chunks of language much faster than isolated words. That's why native speakers often use the same expressions again and again. So don't just learn vocabulary, learn useful phrases.
Here's another quick practice. Finish these naturally. Good, maybe you said a morning, thank you, see you later. Notice how quickly your brain responds. That's because you're remembering phrases, not translating individual words.
Mistake number 3 is believing that making mistakes is embarrassing. Honestly, I used to think that too. If I pronounced one word incorrectly, I'd replay that moment in my head for hours. Meanwhile, the other person had already forgotten about it.
That's so true. Most people aren't judging you. They're usually thinking, wow, this person speaks more than one language. That's actually impressive. The fear is often much bigger than the reality.
And remember this, if someone laughs because you're learning English, that says much more about them than it does about you. Learning another language takes courage. Not everyone is willing to do that. Be proud of yourself.
Instead of saying, I'm embarrassed, try saying, I'm improving. Instead of, I always make mistakes, say, I'm getting better every time I speak. Those small changes in mindset make a huge difference.
Here's our 4th common mistake, comparing yourself with someone who's much further ahead. Maybe you see someone speaking fluent English on social media. Maybe your friend learns vocabulary faster than you do. Then you think, I'll never reach that level.
But here's the problem. You're comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. You don't know how many years they studied. You don't know how many mistakes they made. You only see the finished result.
The better comparison is with yourself. Can you understand more English than 6 months ago? Can you speak longer than before? Can you recognize more words in movies? If the answer is yes, you're succeeding.
Here's a little challenge. Think about one thing you can do in English today that you couldn't do a year ago. Maybe you can introduce yourself. Maybe you can watch short videos without subtitles. Maybe you can order food confidently. That's progress.
I also want to share something funny. Have you ever practiced one sentence so many times that when someone finally asked you a different question, your brain completely froze? I think we've all been there. You prepare for "where are you from?" and suddenly they ask, "what do you do for fun?" Your brain goes, "wait, that wasn't in today's lesson."
Exactly, that's why practicing conversations is much better than memorizing speeches. Real life is unpredictable. The more flexible you become, the more confident you'll feel.
So if you make mistakes today, smile, learn from them, keep talking. Tomorrow's version of you will thank today's version for not giving up.
Let's wrap up this section with one simple message. Mistakes aren't signs that you're failing. They're signs that you're actually using English. Speak often, learn from every conversation, stay patient with yourself. And remember, every fluent English speaker you admire once made these exact same mistakes before becoming confident.
All right, it's time to put everything we've talked about into action. This is one of my favorite parts because you're not just listening anymore, you're thinking, choosing, and speaking. Remember, don't worry about getting every answer right. The goal is to build confidence. So whenever I give you two choices, pause for a second, say your answer out loud, and then we'll explain it together.
Exactly, think of this like a conversation with us. If you get one wrong, that's completely fine. Every mistake is another chance to learn. Ready, let's go.
Situation number 1, your friend asks, "how's your English going?" Which answer sounds more natural? Option A, "my English is very bad." Or option B, "my English is getting better." I'm practicing every day. Take a moment and choose.
The better answer is option B. Why? Because it's honest, positive, and keeps the conversation moving. Even if you still have a lot to learn, saying you're improving shows confidence and motivation. You could also say, "I'm working on it, I'm making progress, I'm learning something new every day." All of those sound natural.
Great job. Now let's try another one. Situation number 2. Someone compliments your English by saying, "your English is really good." Which response sounds better? Option A, "no, it's terrible." Or option B, "thank you. I'm still learning." Think about your answer.
Option B is definitely the better choice. Sometimes learners reject compliments because they think they're being humble. But in English-speaking cultures, it's perfectly normal to accept a compliment politely. You can say, "Thank you, I really appreciate that. That's kind of you to say." Then if you want, you can add, "I'm still learning." That sounds confident without sounding arrogant.
Exactly, be proud of your progress. You've worked hard for it. Now let's move to situation number 3. You're talking with a coworker. They ask, "can you finish this by tomorrow?" Which answer sounds more natural? Option A, "I will try." Option B, "sure, I'll do my best." Go ahead and choose.
Both answers are grammatically correct, but option B sounds warmer and more confident. "Sure, I'll do my best." You could also say, "absolutely, no problem, I'll take care of it." These expressions are common in everyday conversations at work.
Here's situation number 4. You make a mistake while speaking English. What should you do? Option A, stop talking because you're embarrassed. Or option B, correct yourself and keep going. What's your choice?
Option B, every single time. Native speakers correct themselves all the time. They forget words. They change sentences halfway through. They accidentally say the wrong thing, and then they simply continue. Conversation is much more important than perfection.
I want everyone listening to remember this sentence. It's okay to make mistakes. Can you say that out loud one more time? It's okay to make mistakes. I hope that becomes part of your mindset every time you practice English.
Now let's make things a little more interesting. We'll give you a sentence and your job is to improve it. Here's the first one. "My English is bad. How could you make it more positive?"
Here are a few ideas. My English is improving. I'm getting better every day. I'm still learning. Notice how each sentence changes your attitude while staying honest.
Here's another. "I can't speak English. Can you improve that?"
Try these. I can't speak English confidently yet. I'm learning to speak English. I'm practicing every day. That tiny word yet makes a huge difference.
All right, let's practice different tones. Imagine your best friend asks, "Want to practice English together?" Casual response. "Yeah, let's do it." Now imagine your teacher asks, "Would you like to join our English conversation club?" A slightly more formal response could be, yes, I'd love to, or that sounds great. Thank you, different situations, different tones, but both sound natural.
Here's one final challenge for you. I want you to create one sentence using each of these phrases. I'm working on, I'm looking forward to, I'm getting better at. Say them out loud first. Then write them in the comments after you finish watching this episode. We genuinely enjoy reading your examples, and it's one of the best ways to practice writing naturally.
And don't worry if your sentence isn't perfect. We'll say it again because it's worth repeating. Practice beats perfection. Every sentence you create is another step toward fluency. Every conversation makes you stronger. Every mistake teaches you something valuable.
Before we finish today's lesson, I have one small challenge for you. For the next 7 days, spend just 10 minutes speaking English out loud every single day. Talk about your morning, describe your plans, tell a story. Ask yourself questions and answer them. You don't need a partner, you just need consistency.
That's the secret right there. Real conversations matter more than perfect grammar. The more you speak, the more comfortable you'll become. Don't wait until you feel ready. Speak now, improve along the way, and trust the process. Because confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from using what you already know.
We've covered a lot together today, and I hope you're leaving this episode with something much more valuable than just new English tips. I hope you're leaving with confidence. Remember, learning English isn't a race. You don't have to be the fastest learner in the world. You just have to keep moving forward. Every word you learn, every sentence you speak, and every mistake you make is proof that you're growing.
Let's quickly review the 3 biggest ideas from today's conversation. First, focus on communication instead of perfection. Simple English that people understand is always better than complicated English you never use. Second, make English part of your daily life. Practice a little every day, use useful phrases, and speak as often as you can. Third, don't let mistakes stop you. They're not signs of failure. They're signs that you're learning and becoming more confident.
If you've been thinking about quitting English, I hope this episode changed your mind. Think about why you started learning in the first place. Maybe it's for your career, maybe it's for travel. Maybe it's to connect with people around the world. Whatever your reason is, it's still worth fighting for. 1 year from now, you'll either be glad you kept practicing or wish you had never stopped. The choice you make today will shape that future.
Before we say goodbye, here's one last question for you. What's one promise you're making to yourself after watching this episode? Maybe it's, I'll practice for 10 minutes every day. Or, I'll stop being afraid of mistakes. Or, I'll speak English out loud more often. Share your promise in the comments. We'd truly love to read it. And your words might inspire another learner who needs encouragement today.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend who's learning English, leave a comment, and subscribe to Talk Fluent so you never miss a new lesson. Every like, comment, and share helps us reach more learners around the world, and we're so grateful to have you as part of this amazing community.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Keep believing in yourself, keep practicing, keep smiling, and remember that every fluent English speaker was once exactly where you are now. Your journey is unique, your progress is real, and your best English is still ahead of you. Take care, keep talking, keep learning, and as always, see you next time.